Nnamdi Kanu, the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, has once again grabbed the spotlight. But this time, it's for a remarkable reason. The man who has spent years fighting for justice for himself, for his people, and for Nigeria as a whole, has made his way back into the headlines in a dramatic fashion. On October 27, 2025, Kanu stormed the court with his case files, showing that he was prepared to fight every inch of the way. It wasn't just his physical presence in the courtroom that sent shockwaves. It was the powerful statement he made that echoed through the court and resonated deeply with his supporters and critics alike. God is a God of justice. Before we continue, please make sure you like this video and subscribe to the channel. Now, for those of you who've been following the story closely, you know that Kanu's legal battles have been long, complex, and riddled with controversies. He has been fighting charges ranging from terrorism to sedition, facing severe consequences for his calls for the independence of Biafra. But this time, his approach was different. After expressing dissatisfaction with his legal team, which had been led by senior advocate of Nigeria, Kanu Agabi, Kanu decided to represent himself. He told the court, "I am Nnamdi Kanu. I stand for myself." And with that statement, he asserted not just his right to self-representation, but also his commitment to his cause, his fight for justice. As the trial continued, Kanu's decision to stand alone in court raised eyebrows, sparking debates across Nigeria. Some people were shocked. Could a man facing charges as serious as his defend himself against a system that has already shown so many challenges? Others applauded his move, seeing it as a sign of his unwavering belief in his mission. After all, he had made a career of challenging the status quo, of fighting for what he believed was right, even when the odds were stacked against him. But what does all of this mean in the broader context of Nigeria's current situation? You see, Kanu's trial isn't just about one man or one set of charges. It's about something much bigger. It's about the long-standing grievances in Nigeria, particularly in the southeast, and how these grievances have led to decades of unrest. The Biafra conflict, which led to a brutal civil war in the 1960s, still weighs heavily on the collective consciousness of the southeastern region. And for many, Kanu has come to symbolize the fight for justice, not just for his people, but for all Nigerians who feel marginalized or oppressed by the system. Now, back to the courtroom. As Kanu sat there holding his case files tightly, a sense of determination filled the air. The courtroom wasn't just a place where legal arguments were being made. It was a battleground for his very freedom. His supporters gathered outside, raising their voices in solidarity, chanting and holding placards that called for justice. These were not just any supporters. These were people who, like Kanu, felt they had been left behind by the system. They were fighting for their right to be heard, for their right to be seen as equal citizens in a nation they believed they helped build. But what does Kanu's statement, "God is a God of justice," really mean? On the surface, it's a simple statement, but when you look deeper, it's a powerful declaration. Kanu isn't just talking about divine justice, he's talking about human justice, the kind that should be served in courts, in government, and in every facet of society. For Kanu, justice is not something that can be bargained away or ignored. It's a principle that has been denied to him, but that doesn't mean he's willing to let it slip away without a fight. His words served as a reminder to everyone in the courtroom that justice, true justice, is a God-given right. And let's not forget the broader international context. As we all know, the world is watching. Media outlets from the United Kingdom, the United States, and other parts of the globe are following this case closely. It's a global story, not just a local one. It touches on issues of human rights, governance, and the search for justice in a country that has struggled with its own identity for decades. The echoes of the Biafra War still resonate, and Kanu's trial brings those unresolved issues to the forefront. Now think about this. Kanu's case is not just about him,
It's about the larger question of how Nigeria handles dissent. How do we, as a nation, respond to individuals who challenge the system? How do we treat those who seek to push the boundaries of what is considered acceptable? Kanu's legal team may have been dismissed, but his message remains clear. The system has failed many, but that doesn't mean it can't be fixed.
It doesn't mean that one man's fight for justice should be ignored. Let's also talk about what's happening outside the courtroom. The global implications of Kanu's case are huge. Protests have erupted in countries like the UK, the US, and even Kenya. People are demanding action, and they are calling attention to the broader issues of human rights violations and the ongoing struggles of people in the Southeast. It's not just about one man's freedom, it's about the freedom of everyone who feels oppressed, everyone who has ever been silenced. Kanu's trial also highlights the importance of dialogue and the need for reforms. If we're being honest, the Southeast has long felt like a region that's been left behind, forgotten by the central government. The calls for secession, for independence, and for more autonomy have been growing louder in recent years, and Kanu has become the face of this movement. But his approach, while controversial, is a call for justice. It's a call for Nigeria to face its past and look toward the future. So, as we follow this case, as we watch the drama unfold in the courts, let's remember what's really at stake. This isn't just about a man on trial. It's about a nation that's grappling with its identity, its history, and its future. It's about justice. And whether or not Kanu is acquitted or convicted, his message will resonate for years to come. Nigeria cannot move forward without confronting its past, and Kanu's trial is one of the clearest reminders of that fact. Now, if you're watching this, I want you to think about what this means for you. How does this case affect you as a Nigerian citizen? How does it impact your understanding of justice, fairness, and human rights? These are important questions that we all need to think about. The fight for justice doesn't belong to any one individual. It belongs to all of us, and it's something we should all stand for. All right, let's continue where we left off. Now let's take a moment to reflect on the kind of courage Kanu is displaying. Representing himself in a high-stakes trial like this is not a decision many would make, especially when the charges are as serious as terrorism and treason. But Kanu's decision to stand alone in the face of these charges speaks volumes about his commitment to his cause. He isn't just defending himself, he's defending a movement. A movement that, for many, symbolizes hope for the people who feel sidelined in Nigeria. For the Southeastern region, this trial is bigger than just one man. It represents a battle for the future, for the recognition of the rights and their place within the country. But let's be real here. This trial is also about the complex dynamics between leadership, power, and the people. The question is not just about whether Kanu is right or wrong. It's about how the Nigerian government handles dissent. How does the country deal with people who challenge the status quo? And more importantly, how do the authorities respond when those challenges gain international attention? The whole world is watching this trial unfold. Kanu's case has gone beyond Nigerian borders, and it's now part of a larger conversation about human rights, self-determination, and justice in Africa. When we talk about justice, we need to consider the idea of fairness. Does the Nigerian justice system give all Nigerians an equal chance to be heard? For many, Kanu's case represents the fight for fairness. He's not just fighting for his freedom, he's fighting for the rights of all Nigerians who feel they've been treated unjustly by the system. This is why so many of his supporters have rallied behind him, why they believe in his cause, and why they continue to call for his release. They see him as a symbol of resistance, a man who refuses to be silenced even when the odds are stacked against him. Now, let's talk about the impact of his trial on Nigeria's political landscape. Whether you support Kanu or not, one thing is clear. His case has forced the government to reckon with issues of justice, fairness, and accountability. The attention this case has drawn is a reminder to the government that people will not stay quiet when they believe their rights are being trampled on. And it's also a reminder to all of us that change doesn't come easily. It takes courage, persistence,
and sometimes the willingness to face overwhelming odds. There's also the question of how this case will affect future movements in Nigeria. Kanu's trial could set a precedent for how the government deals with other separatist movements or groups that seek more autonomy. If Kanu is convicted and given a lengthy sentence, what message does that send to other activists? Will it inspire more people to rise up in protest, or will it create a chilling effect that stifles dissent? The answer isn't clear yet, but what we do know is that this case is a turning point in Nigerian politics,
and it will be remembered for years to come. But beyond the politics, let's talk about something even more personal: the human side of this story. Nnamdi Kanu is not just a political figure or a symbol. He's a man who has endured a lot. He has spent years in and out of prison, faced torture and abuse, and yet he's still standing. His resilience is something that many can relate to. Whether it's fighting for your rights, standing up to oppression, or simply fighting for what you believe in, Kanu's story is one of perseverance. His refusal to give up, even in the face of immense challenges, is something that should inspire us all. It shows that no matter how tough the battle gets, there is always room for hope. Now, let's consider the future. What happens next? Will Kanu's trial result in a fair verdict? Or will it be another example of the system failing the people? If he is acquitted, what does that mean for the people who have been fighting alongside him? If he is convicted, what does it mean for the larger cause of justice in Nigeria? These are questions that will be answered in the coming months. But one thing is for sure: Kanu's case will have lasting consequences on the way we view justice, politics, and human rights in Nigeria. As the trial continues, it's important to remember that we all have a role to play in shaping the future of our country. Whether we agree with Kanu's methods or not, we must engage in the conversation. We must ask ourselves tough questions about the kind of nation we want to build and the values we want to uphold. Because at the end of the day,
justice isn't just a legal concept. It's a reflection of the society we choose to create. Before I wrap this up, I want to remind you all to like this video, share it with your friends, and subscribe to stay updated on the latest news and discussions. Your voice matters, and we want to keep this conversation going. Drop your thoughts in the comments below. What do you think about Kanu's decision to represent himself? Do you believe he'll get the justice he's fighting for? Let's talk about it. Thanks for tuning in, and as always, remember, justice is not a privilege. It's a right we must all fight for.